All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we have a special vehicle, a new vehicle, a 2022 Kia EV6 all-wheel drive. So we're going to do the exterior first, we're going to come back to the interior, and then we're going to just run through the driving, how it drives, and we're going to take a look at all that stuff. So let's get started. Let's do the exterior first. All right, so here is the Kia EV6 exterior. We have pretty much the only reason I'm able to do this kind of video at all is because of our friends at PRN Test Drive. This is Niall. So yeah, thank you very much for having me out and allowing us to test this car out. So we'll just continue with the walk around. So it's got nice, different designed headlights for this year, and also like it's got a front grille. I noticed some EVs don't have a front grille at all. And I have driven the IONIQ 5, so you'll notice, I didn't film it, but you'll notice that the ride height is slightly higher. This one's slightly set up to be more sporty, but it's very nice. So let's just get a quick opinion from the producer of PRN Test Drive. Now, what do you think about the Kia EV6?
It's a nice looking car. I think it looks better than the IONIQ 5, personally. Very sporty.
Yep.
Nice design. Similar, though, to a lot of the other electric cars that have come out recently. I think Jaguar I-Pace, Mustang Mach-E, the Volvo C40.
Yep.
They all kind of have this very similar shape, but overall, I think it's going to be a popular seller for consumers. I like it quite a bit.
Exactly. All right. So we'll just keep going. You notice how the door handles don't pop open when I'm close to them with the key. That's because it's probably on the higher trims. This is very mid-level trim. So we'll just quickly go over the specs. I'll show you the rear first. The rear, it reminds me of a lot of people say it's an Aston Martin DBX. It's like with the way that the lights kind of join each other. It's very interesting. Also, you have your charge port right here. You one touch, it opens, and then you one touch again and it closes. One of the things you'll see in the PRN test drive video that we highlight, that I also want to highlight, is these lights here. There is a light here, but it kind of only highlights this portion of the vehicle. It doesn't actually highlight the charging port. All right, so we'll show you the trunk room before I forget. So now, it's absolutely huge trunk room. You can even put the seats down and have even more. It's not power because that's on a higher trim. We have a mid-level trim, like I said. So, but you could fit anything you want in here, and I think like the size of the vehicle is very good for the trunk spaces. So you have your little bit more storage there. There is no really front, and I think that's because it's an all-wheel drive car. They had to put a motor in the front. I think the IONIQ might have one. Also, something, as we're already in the back, there's no rear wiper, but you do have these interesting like aerodynamic holes here in the body, probably, I'm assuming, to help with some airflow. So we'll go over the specs really quickly. So it is 320 horsepower, 444 pound-feet of torque from a 77.4 kilowatt-hour battery. It's quite fast, and it's just enough for what you need it to do. It's enough for your daily driver. It's enough for all that stuff. So with that being said, let's get into the car. Let's do the interior. Let's see what kind of features we have in there. It's very different. So let's check this out. All right, moving on to the interior. As you can see, there is quite a big difference in the interior of the Kia. So you have this center console right here that kind of doesn't move, but it's big. So it gives you that driver separation that me in particular, I'm looking for it. You have your, which I'm indifferent on this. I feel like I really like how the IONIQ has the physical buttons on this. This has like touchscreen kind of things. So you can kind of switch back and forth for your dual zone climate control, your heated seats. Heated steering, super important. And again, this is a all-wheel drive car, so it's super nice. You have your memory seats here, all your steering controls here. You can open the charge port manually as well as the trunk. You have your drive mode right here. You have different menus, your navigation menu, tire pressure. This kind of tells you what regen you're in and everything like that. We'll get into more of that on the driving. You can see it has a really interesting shifter. It's more like a knob, a big knob that you turn. It really is quite big. And then you press the middle for parking, and you also have your start stop here and also all your seating controls here. But if you press this button, you can see it's a park button, and you can actually have your camera on. We can see Niall in his Kia Sportage right behind us. He's actually going to be giving us a little tour because I have no idea where I am. So we'll go there, and we'll just go here. Look at this glove box. It's a glove box. It's not a glove drawer like you see in the Hyundai IONIQ. You have some nice little storage area here. This is wireless DC fast charging. And then this just kind of lifts up, and you have some little bits of storage in there as well. So yeah, you also have your infotainment. These screens are very big and extremely nice, extremely high quality, super responsive, even with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Extremely nice. I really like the responsiveness. They are very, very much the same. So you're getting the same infotainment. As you can see, this picture right here kind of looks like the IONIQ 5. So you're getting very much the same infotainment. The IONIQ 5's infotainment looks almost exactly like this. Obviously, the middle of the car has changed just a little bit. All right, let's get a move in the Kia EV6 2022. Let's see how this thing drives. So, you kind of have to make the comparison to the Hyundai IONIQ 5. There just isn't a choice because they share the same drivetrain. They share the same kind of, I think, the same battery technology. Kia's might be slightly different, but overall, it's a different car, but the same drivetrain. So it drives similar. It's very hard to tell the difference, but I think just the Kia is just that little bit more faster. It's set up to be a little bit more of a sporty vehicle, and I feel like its competition is probably set up to be a bit more of a relaxed luxury type car. But this still gives you the luxury, and I'm just going to pop it in sport mode because why not? Why would we drive it in any other mode? EV mode in sport mode is very good. So yeah, it's very comfortable, and I mean on Quebec roads, trust me, they're the absolute worst. It's super comfortable either way, even knowing it is set up to be a little bit more, I feel anyways, it's a little bit set up to be heavy in the front, more pointed in the corners a little bit. Obviously, you're not going to track this vehicle because the battery performance just isn't there. It isn't a performance. I think Kia will be coming out with their GT line. This vehicle pretty much does it all. I mean, it's making, I'm currently in the market for an EV, and then maybe later on something that's gas powered that's fun to drive on the weekends, and it's making the decision. I feel like Hyundai and Kia are just leading this charge into the next generation of vehicles, the EV, the electric vehicle. It's so cool and nice to see that, and to have such a big brand get behind it. So it's making the decision to get the car very, very difficult because they're so similar, but this feels very nice. I really like how the steering feels in it. I feel like I have a little bit more connection to the tires in this versus the IONIQ 5 and the IONIQ, just the normal IONIQ that you would have seen on the channel as well. It just feels very planted, and the regen is exactly the same. This car also has iPedal. I'm currently on level 1 regen because I'm just not used to driving with a higher level of regenerative braking. It does benefit, it does add power back into your battery, it does all that stuff, but if you're not used to it, like if you don't drive an EV every day, for me, I get car sick quite easily, so it's very abrasive. It's very like, boom, here's the brake. And now I'm braking, and if you don't do anything, then it's going to stop on iPedal mode. You have your lane keep assist too, which you can see is probably flashing at me because the roads are a little bit weird here in Quebec. And I'm sure that this, as a winter vehicle, would be excellent, like just absolutely excellent. Because of the all-wheel drive, I'm not sure how the rear wheel would be in a winter environment, especially in a harsh winter environment like we have here in Canada / Quebec. If you're in a harsh weather environment and you have you have the cash flow to get an all-wheel drive, I think this one comes in at around like 55,000, which is fair in the price point. I really do think you get what you pay for in this price point, but it isn't going to be for everyone. All right, we're just going to let him get away a little bit, and we're going to do a little pull here. Oh my god, that friggin' takes your... Oh my god. It really, even knowing it's not as fast as a Tesla, and it's, it maybe can compete with a Porsche, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's real or true or accurate at all. But it is fast, and it's exactly what you need if you're on the highway and you want to, if you want to go to 0 to 100 to get on the highway, no problem at all. Like, no problem. Like, it's so good for that. And it's so much fun to just rip it. If you're somebody who likes roller coasters, get an electric vehicle. Specifically, try the EV6. Go to your dealership, try this car. It's so cool. Especially if you've never been in an electric vehicle, it might change your mind. It did change mine, which is super cool. You have kind of, I just want to point out quickly too, like, the interior is nice. I do prefer the black interior versus the one that I drove, the IONIQ's white interior. The black interior just looks better to me a little bit. It's kind of got like a lot of plastic though, the Kia. So that's the only thing I would say in its price point that isn't really worth it. As I get a warning to keep my hands on the steering wheel because I'm doing a lot of hand gesturing. Thank you, Kia, for keeping me safe. So, like, there's a lot of just these strange materials, or it's like really textile. It just feels strange, and it's got a lot of piano black, which is, if you're a detailer by any means, it's hard to clean that. And for the price point, like I was saying, it's hard to justify 55,000 for. It would be nice to see a little bit more premium. I do feel like the buttons on the steering wheel are a little bit nicer, and then also like the buttons on the steering wheel. So if you're driving like a Hyundai, like, all your controls are here for picking up and hanging up, and I think now they've switched it. Now over here you have your cruise control, and over here you have your infotainment, like volume and song switch and everything like that. I haven't tested the sound system just yet. I'm not sure why that person is honking exactly, and there seems to be a little oh, the joys of driving on public roads. Okay, anyways, all right, I just want to take a second at this point in the video and just again thank Niall so much for allowing me to come out here and do this. There's no way that a channel my size gets their hands on a vehicle like this. It means absolutely everything. And Neil, if you're watching, thank you so much. You have no idea what it means. I will absolutely pay this forward. If there's any small creators when I grow at all, I will absolutely pay it forward. So thank you again. Shout out Neil. His channel will be in the description. He'll be linked. He'll be annotated. Everything. Go check him out. He's so good at doing car reviews, and I hope to be at that level one day. Now maybe we could talk a little bit about range. I don't know, because like this is my first day with the car. I haven't had it for a week. For me, I just feel like the range would be pretty good if you're charging at home. Like if you install one of those fast chargers, they might be level 2 chargers. I believe you can get one in your house. Then you absolutely have nothing to worry about. I have heard some complaints with the charging infrastructure here in Canada. I don't know if in all areas it's good, but it's okay. And I think it's gonna get better as we add more vehicles to the lineup. It's just gonna be really good. We have 90%, and it feels like I've been at 92 to 93% the whole time. It's really good on range. And like you see, I want to close up on Niall just a little bit here, and I can just rip it. And the battery is very I think the battery technology is very good. I don't believe that it has see, that's where the lane keep assist can kind of bother you a little bit. It can kind of pull you out when you're trying to get past the car. Anyways, I don't believe it has a battery that can precondition for charging. So say you navigate to a charging station, and you say I'm going to charge, and they don't speak, so the battery can't preheat itself. So in the winter, you're gonna get affected by that, especially on this model of the Kia. I don't know if they'll change that in 2023. I hope so, because that would be really useful and it'd save people time and also save the battery, because the batteries don't like to be extremely cold and they also don't like to be extremely hot. There's kind of that sweet spot to get the best range and overall battery life, because we don't want our batteries dying at 40,000 kilometers in. We want these to last 100,000 kilometers and then some before we even have to think about replacing the battery. But I do really enjoy this car. You could easily do a road trip in this car. It's so, I know I talked about how you might feel the bumps a little bit more, but it's not, unless you drive them like absolutely back to back, or you're somebody who's really into car feeling and stuff like that, the chances of you noticing are very little. It's just so comfortable. The cloth seats in here are just nice. The floor feels like it's just a nice place to be. Absolutely no complaints from me. I really do enjoy driving this car. The steering, I find it bigger. I'm pretty sure they are the same size. The IONIQ 5 and the Kia. I'm pretty sure they're the same size, but it just feels, this steering wheel feels very nice in your hands, and especially like driving this in the winter. I feel like the leather would heat, I don't know if this is real leather or not, but it would heat up quite fast and quite nicely too. The climate control is very good too. Like, you'd think that in an EV it kind of is stingy on how much air it's giving you. It really isn't. It's perfect. It's a really hot day here, and I get in the car, it's been fine. And I'm pretty sure a lot of these cars you can control from your phone, so you can actually turn the car on and then have it all heat up or cool down or whatever you want in the winter. So if you have the cash to do it, I would definitely recommend going with an all-wheel drive long range. If not, then the next step down is probably a rear wheel drive long range. You really want to get your range, especially if you live in a climate where it's constantly snowing, or I feel like 6 months out of the year here it's constantly going like that. So you really have to choose, look at where you live and look at how cold it really gets, because you are going to lose a little bit of range. Again, I haven't driven this car in the winter, so I don't know exactly how much, but you will definitely lose some range doing this. But if you're in a warmer climate, then, well, the range doesn't really matter. You just have to gauge, again, how warm. Like I was saying before, the batteries really have that sweet spot. But if it were me, and I had the cash flow right away, right now, live, I would definitely take the all-wheel drive. I would definitely take this version. I don't really think that you need like a performance kind of like GT thing. I really don't think you need that so much. So, with all that being said, the Kia EV6 is a really fun car to drive, even in its mid-trim levels. I think even faster in the GT levels, and when they come out with their more performance level, I can't wait to try to get my hands on that one as well. It'd be really cool to check it out. But yeah, with that being said, it's been really good driving this vehicle. Thank you once again, PRN Test Drive and Niall, for allowing me to come out and do this. Check them out in the description. If you have any questions about the car, let me know in the comments. I'm also going to be a little bit in Niall's video too, so let us know in the comments, and make sure you like and subscribe, because I need to get my hands on more of these cars. This is really fun to do. I'm having a great time, and yeah, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Take care. One last little pull for the outro.